So. Eins, zwei, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Müssen wir mal gucken, ob ihr mich hören könnt. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, ja, ich kann mich selber hören. It's beautiful. So. So. Das Details. Irgendwo muss ich nämlich erst die. Ich muss das schon versuchen. Was hat man? Was ich machen wollte. Zeit tracken lassen. So, was wollten wir? Okay. Alles gut. Mal zurück. Okay. Okay. So, why can I not save this? No, it's not made for kids. Oops. Oh, that's good because I want to allow you guys to comment so I can see your questions. Because I want to allow you guys to comment so I can. Something's wrong here. Analysa, you're in live control room. Yes. Entertainment. I think that's live chat. Oops. So now there should be a live stream. Questions are available, so I can see. Oops. So now there should be a live stream. Questions are available, so I can. Oh yeah, wonderful. But can I see them here? Yes. Yeah. Super. Hello, please. Oh, yeah. Now I have to send the broadcast out. So I see the first people are here already. And I apologize for the small delay. So. So let me just make sure that everything is in order, that you guys got the right link. Yes, that works. So now the invite got out to my subscribers, and the email is sending right now, so we hope we will see each other very soon. So, yes. Please ask your questions. And that hit me. So, sure. So, good. Then let's see. Still waiting for you guys to show up, which is no surprise because we just went live and the invitation just went out about a minute ago. I can hear myself, so that's good. Let's stop it there. Oh, there's a lot of clicks, so there should be a lot of you guys showing up now. Wonderful. Have a moment of patience still. I just sent out a newsletter to my 25,000 subscribers. So very slowly now people will show up and we have to give them a moment or two to catch up with us. That's what I wanted to say. And then We will start for seriously in about 5-6 afterwards. But as you can see, I'm a bit more leger today because this is the last day of my holidays. I'm still on the road together with my family, and my wife is bringing the kids to bed right now. If I don't know if you can hear that in the background, so we need that will take a small moment. How will this work today? I will talk about. I will talk for maybe. I try to be short, maximum 45 minutes, and in the end there will be a Q&A session. And I kindly ask you to wait with your questions that you can put into the chat until I finished, because a lot of I do this for 12 years. So many of the questions that you guys usually have, they will be answered in the webinar already. So let's save the Q&A session in the end for all the questions that are not answered in the webinar. And I see now there are 11 people. There's more coming. Usually it's about 100 in the end. And I would say we give it another 2 minutes, and then we start for seriously. In the meantime, if you like, write into the live chat and tell me from which city you are watching right now. As I said, I'm on holiday, so I am in Santander, Spain at the moment. Where are you guys at the moment? Feel free to write it into the live chat so I see who is there, and I can also make sure that you all hear me correctly. So where are you watching this live stream from? Feel free to write it into the chat, and then we will see. Gertrude von Dresden, hello. How are you, Gertrude? It's the first one. Bret von Berlin, hallo. Thought von Stuttgart. Wow, we are very German today. It's unusual. Asma von Islamabad in Pakistan, hello. Murtada von Bukarest, hi. Omomadia von Bavaria, ja. Mei, das ist jetzt falsch. Schön, dass du auch dabei bist. Ne? Get what I'm good. Thanks. That's good. Great. We give it another 1 minute, and then we will start the webinar. And the way how this will work, Hannover, WS. Nice that you are here as well. Very German today. Maria von Turkey. And the whole executive committee aus Orange, California. Welcome. Kalpana von Munich. Oh, it's lots of people from Germany. That's usually my mix is so about 40% who are already in Germany, and about 60% who are basically spread all over the world. But today we seem to have a very big overhang from German people. Elizabeth aus Sri Lanka, hello. My daughter is called Elizabeth as well. She's named after my grandma, who was a very strong but kind person as well. But you wouldn't want to mess with her. She was tough, and I hope my daughter will be as tough as her as well. Good. Yeah. I would say I will shrink now my big picture for myself a little bit in, so that you can see a few of the slides that I brought to you. Don't worry, this is not a PowerPoint presentation. The slides are mostly to illustrate what I will be sharing with you today. Let's see how to do this correctly, because all the time I forget. Oops. Someone is very unhappy that they have to go to bed, if you hear that in the background. And here we are. Welcome to the Expats Career Webinar 2023. I used to do this webinar about 4 times per year, and then over the years, I started to do it less and less. In the last few years, I did it twice per year, once at the end of January And once of the end of August, because that's when I take on new clients. I take on new clients only twice per year. And what we will do today is I will give you an insight into the German job market as it really is. I will discuss a little bit what has changed with COVID on one side and new German immigration laws on the other side. Then I will show you what the actual obstacle for you is to enter the German job market, and it's not what most people think. And I will show you how you overcome this obstacle, because otherwise, where would be the purpose of this webinar? And then in the very end, when I did all of that, there will be a live Q&A session where you can ask your questions in the chat, and I will try to answer as many questions as possible. I just have to answer you. I have to make a cut at 21:15 latest, because then that's the time when I have to go and help my wife with the children. So yeah, welcome to everybody who just arrived to the Expats Career Webinar. Yeah, this picture that you see now is already quite some years old. For 12 years, 12 or 13, 12 years, I've been helping international professionals to find a job here in Germany. And this picture was taken a few years back when I already had gained a lot of experience. I have written a book, and I had helped a good number of people to find a job in Germany. Times move on, then came COVID, and we all had to stay at home and look suspiciously at the delivery guy when he bought stuff. And that's when I started to look like this. And now, again, 2 years have gone by. Lots of things have changed. That's snow in my hair, by the way. It's not dandruff. In case you were wondering, it was snowing outside. Times have moved on, and now I look like this. And you might ask yourself, yeah, why should we listen to Chris when it comes to the question on how to find a job as an international professional in a different country, specifically in Germany? So let me take just a moment to tell you a little bit about myself so that you understand why I feel competent to talk with you about this topic. I work with new clients twice per year. That's a little advertising break now, just a second. And I take on new clients twice per year. Every time I take on only 8 clients. For the next round that starts tomorrow, 1st of September, 6 of the 8 spots have been taken already. There's 2 spots left. And I'm pretty sure by midnight tonight, these 2 last places are also gone, because they always are. If you're interested to have me personally help you to find a job in Germany and work with you in the time between now and Christmas to find a job by Christmas, and then follow this link, immigrantspirit.com/miracle, and you find all the information there. So yeah, this is me. Somewhere in the late 70s, early 80s, the little guy here with the red pullover and the toxic green trousers, celebrating Carnival in my hometown in Germany. So now I'm from Westfalen. So what you see here is basically the complete Carnival of the town that I was living in at the time. Later, I moved to Düsseldorf, very different kind of Carnival there. But where I came from, Carnival was something that wasn't really celebrated. So there's only 4 or 5 people there. And that's, of course, an advantage that I have over many of you. I am German. I was raised in Germany. I went to a German school, studied in Germany, and I know the German business culture in and out. So I know why we do things in a certain way, why German employers react to some things in a specific way, and how you have to communicate with them to talk in a language that makes sense for them. I'm not talking about German here, obviously. I'm talking about all the unspoken little things that are in a culture that you don't see when you come from the outside, and that can actually make or break your career if you don't pay attention to them. But at the same time, I'm also just like you. I used to be an expatriate. I lived in 7 different countries all over Europe. I lived first in Estonia for many years, then in Latvia, in London. I lived in the Mediterranean. I lived in Moscow for a while. And just recently, in last autumn, I moved again. After, 11 years in Germany, my family and I decided that it's time to do something new again. So we moved to Santander in Spain, which is where I'm greeting you from now. That's for me quite a comfortable situation, because from the very beginning, I built my business in a way so that I can take it with me wherever I go. So it doesn't matter if I live in Germany or in Spain, or if I travel around the world. My clients anyway come from all over the world, and I can serve them through the internet. And that's a very big change to even 10 or 15 years ago. And that's something that German employers don't pay enough attention to, as we will see a little bit later too, because it gives you also a lot of opportunities. So I lived abroad for 10 years. Then I moved back to Germany, and I was very shocked. There's a little thing called reverse culture shock. That's when you live abroad and you come home to your home country, and you realize that you yourself has changed because of the new experiences that you have made. And that while you were gone, your country also has changed. So you don't really feel at home anymore, because you are a different person and the country is different. For me, this was not like that. I lived abroad for 10 years. I lived in many different countries and worked in many different countries, and I certainly have changed. And then I came home to Germany, and I realized that in 10 years, nothing had changed. And now it's 11 years later, and I left Germany, and still it's all the same as it was 21 years ago. So back then already I knew, and today I still believe it even more, that we as a society, as an economy, urgently need people like you. People who come from the outside, who are talented, who are hard-driven, who want to contribute to our society, who want to build something, because we need your input. We need your insight from the rest of the world in order to adapt finally to this world that has been changing. So what I want to say with that is that if your wish is to come to Germany and build a career here, I am your ally. I'm on your side, not only for your sake, but also for the sake of my own home country. Yeah, I have been helping international professionals for many, many years, and thousands, literally thousands of you have shared their story, their experience with me in the Expats Career Survey that I do every single year, and in thousands of emails that many of you have written me to share their experiences, talk about their challenges. And all these things that I learned from your feedback, from the feedback of thousands, a little bit over 1,000 HR professionals and managers in lots and lots of German companies, I finally digested and put into a book called How to Win Jobs and Influence Germans. That's a joke that's totally lost on my compatriots, because Dale Carnegie's book is called differently in German language. And by now, the 3rd edition of this book is on the market. The 3rd edition came out in May, if I am not mistaken. And if you're interested in it, you'll find it on Amazon. And if you don't have Amazon in your country, you can go to my website, immigrantspirit.com, and you'll find a little advertising for it there, and you can buy my book there. It's a step-by-step guide to your next job in Germany. By the way, if you are a German person and for some reason you struggle to break into the German labor market, because the real obstacle for international professionals is something that many Germans also face. This book will also help you, because it's especially for people who don't fit into the ISO norm or don't want to fit into the ISO norm. Yeah, I work with over 300 international professionals, helped them to find a job over the years. Now I work only with 16 per year, 8 in the spring and 8 in the autumn. I get feedback of thousands of international professionals, of hundreds of companies, of managers, of HR professionals. And I also analyze the complete German job market. And because I really have a really deep insight into the real challenges to find enough international professionals and bring them into the German job market. And I have deep insight into the challenges of the international professionals as well. I regularly get interviewed by German quality media from ARD bis die Zeit about my insights into international recruiting and its effect on Fachkräftemangel, labor shortage in Germany. So, long story, there was a long introduction just so to give you a little bit of background of who I am and why I'm competent to talk with you about how you can find a job in Germany. But now let's come to the stuff that's way more interesting, the stuff that will help you or hinder you to enter the labor market in Germany. Let me share this statistic with you. The statistic is a few years old. It's from my research. I didn't get around to update it in the presentation, but the numbers unfortunately didn't change very much. What you see here is basically all the job advertisings that are somewhere in Germany online, either on a job platform like stepstone.de or monster.com or glassdoor.com, or on a company's website, on their career website. I do this together with a company called Textkernel in the Netherlands. They scan basically the complete German language internet, and they filter out all the job advertisements they can find. And at that time, when I made the screenshot, there were minus dupletten, 8.7 million jobs advertised in Germany. And these are all the jobs that offer an unlimited work contract, which is the standard in Germany. But once you filter out of this great number of jobs, only those jobs who are in English, the picture changes dramatically. You go from 8.7 million jobs advertised to just 464,000 jobs. 8.7, 464,000. So when you look closer and you look at the number of companies who are offering English jobs in Germany, then you know that in Germany there's 350,000 companies with more than 10 employees, 350,000. Just 350 of them offer 50% of all English jobs in Germany. So for many, many years, the number of English jobs in Germany was about 1%. 1% of German companies, were hiring in English. Then came COVID, and now it's a little bit better. Now it's 4%. But that still means that 96% of the employers in Germany don't even try to hire you if you're not fluent in German. And as I said, if you look at all the English language jobs in Germany, half of them come from just 350 employers. And that's, of course, a huge problem for you if you're an international professional and if you want to come to Germany, because you basically have the choice to either apply for an English language jobs. Then you apply for a company like Zalando in Berlin, who told me in an interview that they get 100,000 applications per year. Or a company in like Trivago in Düsseldorf, for which I used to be a recruiter. They get in a month 40,000 applications, 40,000 every single month. So your chance to break through this huge number of candidates and be the one who is chosen are really, really slim. So there's some weird loudspeaker car driving along the street here, making advertising for a circus. Very weird. So what is your other choice? The other choice is to apply for a German language company in a German speaking job if you feel you are qualified for it. And then usually you will be automatically rejected. Why? The typical recruiter in Germany spends between 7 and 12 seconds to look at a CV. 7 to 12 seconds. And then they decide review or reject. And reject is the default decision. They see you don't speak German, you are not from Germany, you went to a university they never heard of, and you're gone. So when German media or TV stations or newspapers ask me for an interview, that's usually the number one thing that I point out that has to change if we want to bring as many international professionals as we actually need into the country. But it's not the real obstacle. It's just a symptom. If you, well, the real symptom you will see in a moment. I will come to that a little bit later. So as I said, things got a little bit better. I wanted to show you this very quickly at the example of working remotely, working in home office. Before the pandemic, 61 of German employers said, no way, you can't work in home office. After the pandemic, 61% said, yeah, now everybody is working in home office. So a dramatic shift, but only because circumstances forced us. Change in Germany only happens when you're really pushed to the absolute limit. And I can tell you right now, like in many other countries, there's already a push to force people to go back to the office. Yeah, as I said, language is the thing that I first talk about when I get interviewed by German newspapers to help them understand a little bit how much we as Germans have to change in order to find all the international talent that we need. But it's not the real obstacle. The lack of English job offers in Germany is a symptom. It's not the cause. Let's talk about the cause. The cause has to do with this. The Institut zur Zukunft der Arbeit, the Institute for the Future of Labor, is a government agency here in Germany. And some years ago, they tried to find out how discrimination affects hiring practices in German companies. So they created 3 fake candidates who were exactly identical in their education, in their professional experience, in their skill. Everything in their CV was absolutely identical. They just changed 2 things. They sent out 500 applications under the name Sandra Bauer as the name of the candidate. They sent out another identical set of applications under the name Meryem Öztürk. And then they sent a third set of another 500 applications out where Meryem Öztürk also wore a headscarf. Let me tell you once again that the CVs of all these 3 fake candidates were absolutely identical. And these are people, let me remind you, these are German citizens, born in Germany, went to German school, worked in German companies all their life, went to German universities. So how did the pure change of a name, the pure change of a picture, which is another weird thing in many other countries, you don't put pictures in CVs, in Germany you do, sometimes. How does this affect your chance to get a job interview? Well, Sandra Bauer usually had to write a little bit more than 5 applications to get 1 job interview, meaning out of 500 applications, she got roughly 95 job interviews. Meryem Öztürk, who was completely identical, just that they changed the name, she had to already send 7.5 applications to get a job interview. meaning that out of the 500 that she sent, let me calculate it. I should have looked this up in advance. She, instead of getting roughly 100 applications, she only got 66. So she had dramatically less options, less choice, less opportunities than Sandra Bauer, who was the same person, just different name. So what happens when you have a headscarf? And before I show you, let me tell you that the jobs for which this candidate applied were in accounting, in an internal role where you have no access to customers, where you cannot make any excuses. Well, Miriam with the headscarf had to send 23 applications just to get one job interview, despite absolute identical qualifications. And I'll let you take this in for a moment, because keep in mind, these fake candidates, they are all German citizens. They speak German, went to a German school, went to a German university, worked in German companies. And they had so much more work cut out for them to get interviews just because of their name, just because of how their picture looked. Imagine how much harder it is for you when you don't speak our language. You maybe are not even in our country. You went to a university that we have never heard of, and you work for employers that we don't know. Can you imagine how much harder it is for you to be taken seriously, to be taken as a valid candidate? Has nothing to do with language, literally nothing to do with language. You don't know how many emails I get where people tell me, hey, yeah, I got rejected. They told me my German is not good enough. And then they write, my German is A1, very basic. My German is B1, better. My German is B2, still not enough. My German is C1. I had one coaching client in Munich who speaks absolutely fluent German, who got into a job interview and then was rejected with the argument, yeah, well, in our company, we speak only German, and you are fluent in English and in German. He was British. And we feel you would be bored if you have to speak only German. Do you see what's happening here? The real obstacle is not any objective fact. The real obstacle is that you get rejected simply because you are different. Because you are not exactly like the person they hired the last time. And unfortunately, Germany as a culture is super uncomfortable with any kind of uncertainty. And we interpret uncertain as dangerous. And if you have the chance to take a risk or to avoid a risk, then we will always avoid the risk. So you can send as many applications as you will want. And I had clients who sent 500 applications, never got a job interview before they started working with me. And you will always have the same reaction. Why? Your CV comes into the inbox. There's a name I don't recognize. There's a university I don't know. There are employers I've never heard of. Gone. Actually, you don't even get that far. You get, not here, gone. That's how it is. And sending more applications and perfecting how your CV is styled won't change anything about that. No? But there's hope. No? Don't get too distracted. I wouldn't tell you all this depressing stuff if I wouldn't have a solution for you. Yeah, this is just a little filler so that I can tell you that we move on to a new segment. You see, what options do you have if you will be rejected for being different? Well, of course, you can try to fit in. You can try to be exactly like us, to look like us, to talk like us, to dress like us, to do the same kind of cultural events like us. But let me tell you, it doesn't matter how hard you try, you will never ever look like these people. And they will let you know that. And for me, let me tell you from the bottom of my heart, I'm so happy that you are not like these people. Because guess what? These people, we have enough. We have them enough in our country. We need you especially because you are different, because you make different experiences, because you learned different skills, because you can bring a new insight into our country and into our economy. Germany is an export nation. We need to understand how our customers think. And that's your strengths. But unfortunately, too many of my compatriots don't see it that way. They don't really understand our own position in the world as well. But there's a solution. So what makes this even harder is that HR, and I know many HR people who are looking right now, they will hate me for this and they will scold me for it, but it's true. Many people are drawn into HR because they have a certain character profile. These are people who otherwise would have worked for the government, meaning they have a very high emotional need for security, for safety, not for the safety of the company, safety for themselves. Their number one goal in life is not to be criticized. So what do you do if your number one goal is to be safe and not to be criticized? And then there comes a CV that's so different from everything you are used to do. Will you take a risk and invite this person that is so different than everything they have ever seen? Or will you avoid the risk and keep looking for someone who is exactly an exact copy of the last person that they hired, which means a 35 years old white German guy? Of course, you avoid the risk. If safety is your main concern, you avoid the risk, because you can always tell your boss that, there comes too few little good candidates. We do so much and nobody applies. No? Or the number one argument for everything in Germany, that's how we have always done it. You're always safe with that. But for doing something new, something unexpected, you can always get criticized, so they avoid it. And that's just one problem that you have with HR. The second problem is, and that's really shocking, most HR people have no clue what they are looking for. They have 30 or 40 different positions to fill, and they don't know, because they never ask, what does the company try to achieve with this position? Why does this position exist? And which results do you need to deliver in order to be successful in this position? Which problems do you need to solve? Which goals do you need to achieve? Why are these goals important? I must have asked this question easily over 1,000 HR people, and maybe one handful of people could answer this question. And you see, I have been self-employed all my life. I have hired people myself. I'm pretty outraged at this. Because if you don't know what you try to achieve, how can you possibly evaluate anybody who applies for this job? No? So because they don't know what the job actually requires, because they don't know what it is for, they still have to decide whom do they invite and whom do they reject. So what do? They try to find a perfect copy of the last person in the job than they can find. And if you are a German person, by the way, you might understand now why you get rejected as overqualified, no? Because you are too foreign, you don't speak the language, you are too young, you are too old, you are the right age, but you are a woman, and oh my God, you might want to have children very soon. No? If you are not isonormed, if you don't fit into the isonorm, then you are cast out. So there's, to be honest, very little way of winning if you go to the standard application process if you are not a standard candidate. So how do you solve this problem? How you get out of this? When Hans hires Hänschen, as we say in Germany, when every boss hires the exact copy of himself, and then people are surprised that there are no fresh ideas, no innovation in the company, what do? Well, it's the same advice that you sometimes have to give in a relationship, which is, I think it's time to see other people. If you don't get a fair evaluation from human resources in the standard application process, then stop talking to HR, stop sending standard applications. Instead, you need to someone who is competent, who is able to evaluate you. And that's the hiring manager. He or she knows what the job requires. He or she knows also what she wants to achieve and why. The hiring manager knows what is the most pressing problem that he tries to solve. And when you can get in a one-on-one with this conversation with the hiring manager, then you have the world open for you. And the first and the biggest advantage that you have is this. You stop being a stereotype. You stop being just a label that, foreigner, gone. Woman, gone. Young, gone. Too old, gone. No? Instead, you are Frank and James and Alina and whatever your name is, and you will be seen as the professional that you are. And this can only happen when you have a one-on-one conversation via phone, via Skype, via Zoom, wie auch immer. No? So when you get to talk to the hiring manager, first of all, you are seen as the professional that you are, the real person that you are, three-dimensional and not just as a label. And second of all, you get a chance to talk with the hiring manager about the things that really matter. Meaning, which results do I need to achieve, in which time, and why? What is the biggest problem I need to solve for you? Why is this problem for you so important? Well, this is when the BBC asked me, they mentioned me in an article about Quereinsteiger, about Germans who go into a different job. That's why I say that anybody can find a new employment in a different career if they know how to do this. No? And because I do this very well, I get emails like this. No? Hey, Chris, do you remember the interview I had with company name a couple of weeks ago? Good news, they invited me for a second round. And then a few days later, the message, I got the job. So there's three benefits to talking to the hiring manager. Number one, you talk to someone who is competent, who actually knows what they try to achieve and is able to evaluate you because they know what they try to achieve. Second of all, talking to the hiring manager gives you the chance to dig deeper. Instead of making a guess about what this company needs, making a guess about what this company wants, in general, you can ask the hiring manager, hey, tell me, I know there's a lot of stuff on your plate. What is the most important thing that you want me to solve for you? What is the first goal I need to achieve for you to make myself valuable? And then when you get the answer to that, you dig deeper and you ask, why? Why is this so important for you? And then you get at the real objectives, the real goals that are on no company's website, that are not mentioned anywhere, but that drive all the decisions. And finally, when you go through these two phases in a conversation, you become a real person, you listen and you understand really what the hiring manager wants to achieve, then you get to share your expertise. And you're not talking as a candidate to an employer. You're talking as two professionals who talk about a real world business problem on the same eye level. And you can share, and I guarantee you, whatever the manager tells you, but the biggest problem is something you already have experienced in your career. And you will be able to pull out of your vast backlog of experiences one that is similar to the problem that he faced. And you will be able to share this experience and say, hey, this was the problem. This is why it was important to solve the problem. This was the first, the second, the third thing I did to solve the problem. And this was the result. Would this also help you? And when you think about your own job and think about the last time you met a new colleague, you talk to this colleague for 5 minutes about a real problem in your company, a real goal in your company. And after 5 minutes, you knew if this guy, this girl knows what she is talking about, or if she is full of shit. No? In end of September, I'm giving a webinar like this for the other side, for employers in Thüringen. And this is the advice that I will give them in order to evaluate who is worth inviting for a job interview. To describe to them the actual results they try to achieve and why they are important, the actual problems they try to achieve and why they are important, and then let the candidate explain how they solved a similar problem for their previous employers. Because people have an immensely good bullshit radar. They will immediately spot if you are someone that just makes up shit, sorry for my French, or if you really know what you're talking about. And then you know, as an employer, you know this guy, this girl is worth having a conversation with. And that's how I help my clients to get into jobs in Germany, even though the company hires only in German. No? Because in the moment when you become the candidate who better than anybody else understands what this manager is trying to achieve and has proven through examples from his previous work that he's able to deliver these results, then you become the obvious choice. And suddenly you have an ally inside the company who will fight for you that you get this position. Yeah. And I'm doing this for what, 12, 13 years now. I helped over 300 people find a job this way. You see a few of the statements of people that I worked with here on the screen. Yeah. Sometimes the most basic, the most humane things to do are also the best business practice. Yeah. And that's what will bring you finally to your dream, to find a great job in Germany. All you have to do is to stop being a stereotype in the eyes of employers and find people who will see you, the actual you, with your experiences and your abilities to contribute. So avoid talking to HR, find the actual hiring manager of a company. Instead of selling yourself, ask this manager, hey, what's your problem? What's your goal? Why it is important? And then when you truly, really understood it, and you don't stop at the surface, dig a little bit deeper, then offer an exactly fitting solution to the exactly fitting problem. You know, I'm a business coach for 13 years. I can work with people from all kinds of professions and from both employees, self-employed people, entrepreneurs, managers. Why do you think my promotion, my how I present myself in the public is with this focus on international professionals? I can serve all of them, but as long as you talk about everything, nobody knows what to think about you, and nobody knows how you benefit them. But if you talk to someone specifically about their problem, about your problem, finding a job in Germany, after you have already applied for 50 or 60 or 100 jobs, after you learned already German to A1, A2, B1, B2, and it's never enough, it still doesn't get you interviews. And I come along and I share with you why this is and how you get over it. Now you are listening to me, because I'm not talking in general terms about how people find jobs in a country. I talk with you about your problem as an international professional who doesn't speak German to find a job in Germany. No? Be specific if you want to have a chance to find a great job. There's a lot of things I could say about that as well. I don't do it tonight because this webinar just gives you an overview. And also I want to have time for your questions. So take a breather. It was quite a tour de force. I think I never went so fast through this webinar as I have been today. If you feel like, yeah, this sounds all great and it's all understandable, but the devil is in the details, you're right. No? As you can see, I can explain very quickly how you do this, but then to actually do it, there's a million small little nooks and hooks that you have to adapt in order to really make it work for yourself. And they all have to do with human psychology in general, but also with German business culture in particular. So if you feel like it would be easier for you if I take your hand, if I'm in your camp and I help you get through to employers, then immigrantspirit.com/miracle is where you can find my services. As I said, I take on 8 clients in September for the rest of the year. So the next course will only be in February next year, 6 months from now. 6 spots are already gone. There's only 2 spots left. And I'm sure by midnight tonight, they're all gone. By the way, just before we come to your questions, maybe you ask yourself, yeah, how do I help you exactly? First of all, I teach you how to do all these things, because the end game should be that you can do it yourself. But I also, in the meantime, so you get immediate results, I will be your ambassador, meaning I help you first to identify the managers behind the job offers that you are interested in, that you chose yourself. And then I will reach out to these managers on your behalf. No? And I do this in a very transparent manner. I tell them, hey, I'm a business coach. I work with international clients. One of my clients is interested in a job that you have to offer. Would you be willing to have a conversation with him or with her? And roughly 1 out of 3 managers will say, yeah, yes, sure. And then I introduce the 2 of you, usually on LinkedIn. And then I guide you step by step through this conversation with the manager and to everything that follows afterwards, so that you have the best opportunity to discover the manager's real need and real pain and present your ability to solve the problem in the best possible way. And of course, I also show you how you deal with objections like, I don't speak German, or you don't speak German, you still live abroad, you need a visa. But also, if you're a German person, you want to work 100% remotely, and we don't do this in this company. Or you have a small child, and you just came out of baby pause after 2 years. You are not in touch with the market anymore. Or you are already 57. Are you not too old for this job? Which they will never tell you in person. They will say you're overqualified. No? Because all of these objections, they have the same root, and there's a very similar way to address all of them, and that's what I help you do. Yeah, that's from my side at this point. Shall we take some questions of you? Where did I want to go? That was not where I want to go. Here I wanted to go. So let's find your questions. One moment. Where's the mouse? Here. Now you will get a backside look into how it looks on the other side. You see here 30 people are still watching the live stream. Let me make this a bit smaller so I can focus more on what you need. Whoops. So great. Wonderful. Now is the time when you can ask your questions. Feel free to post your questions now in the live chat, and I will answer them one by one. Now I'm wondering if I do this like this or like this. So, yeah. You see, I'm really good with technology, huh? Yes, there it is. So, let's see. Andrew, ich komme jetzt aus Erlangen. Rema, could you please tell the price for my services? Yeah. Well, I work with my clients from 1st of September till Christmas Eve. Spam, no, thank you, we don't want. Chips. So I work with my clients from September till till Christmas Eve. In this time, you will have as many individual coaching sessions, one-on-one, as you need it. And I will do everything that I can in my power to get you into a job. And by this, I mean is that whenever there is something that I can do that will move you forward to your next jobs, I will be there for you. Now, so you really have someone who's really on your side and who really does everything possible to help you achieve your goal. Now, that's why I take on only 8 clients, because I really want to be able to focus on each of them and help them to move forward. That also means that if sometimes you have an idea that is very enthusiastic, but I know from experience that it will not work, I will tell you no. Because my part of what I do for you is also to help you focus your energy on the things that really bring you impact. I charge how do you say? Well, let's put it like this. I have 8 seats, and each seat is more expensive than the previous one, in order to reward those who make fast decisions and also to push you a little bit to come to a conclusion. So the 6 of the 8 seats are sold already. So the next seat from the 2 that are still available is 4,797 euros. And the seat afterward is 4,897 euros. And then all the seats for September are sold. And you can only join the next course, which is in January 2024. No? And by the way, the course in January will be more expensive because I have to raise prices. My clients usually they earn salaries in Germany that are starting from 60,000 euros per year and then go up to 120, 150,000 euros. No? So this is a service for which you pay good money because you will also get premium attention. You will have someone who is really there for you. Good. One moment. Let me make sure I don't. How's the scope for K, mechanical engineer, having 4 years of experience? There's a lot of engineering jobs. There's a high demand for engineers, more for software developers, even more. So generally, I cannot answer this question except that there's always demand for engineers. If you like, send me your LinkedIn profile via email to chris@immigrantspirit.com. And somewhere in the next few days, when I go through all my emails that I receive, I will have a look at your LinkedIn profile, and then I will give you a more specific answer about your specific opportunities. Please do not send me CVs because I get 200 emails per day. If I would look at every CV that is sent to me, I would not have time to actually serve my clients. But what I can always do for you, and this goes for all of you, if you like, feel free, send me your LinkedIn profile. I will have a quick look at your LinkedIn profile and then give you a quick estimate about your career opportunities in Germany. Executive committee. Which job industries have the highest demand for English-speaking employees? Software development. If you are a software developer, I think about 15 or 20% of the jobs are in English now. The hardest you have in, well, you actually 0 chance you have in medical professions, because those are regulated by law. You need to have B2 level of German if you want to work as a doctor or as a nurse in Germany. Now, that's required by law. You have to pass an exam. And then there's professions like lawyer or like accountant, where you will have a really hard time explaining how you actually do the job if you can't read German laws. I am German. I don't understand our laws. They're super complicated. By the way, little side note, in the Netherlands, there is a museum for taxes, where they have tax codes from all over the world. And the museum is roughly divided. There's 300, 400 meters of books of text for the whole world. And then there's 100 meters just about German taxes. So that's how complicated it is. The question that you should ask yourself, to give you something that you can use, the question that you should ask yourself is, first, can you find at least 5 fitting jobs in Germany every week for the duration of this program, meaning from 1st of September till Christmas Eve. 5 fitting jobs that you want to do, for which you are qualified. And for each of these jobs, can you explain to a German employer how you will do this job in English while you still learn German? And I don't mean, oh, I will figure it out. That's not good enough. You have to be able to step-by-step explain, this is how I will achieve the results, how I will bring the deliveries in this position while I'm still learning German. First, I will do this, then I will do this, then I will do this, and then I will do this. And when there's a problem, I will do this and this to solve the problem. If you can do this, now you find 5 jobs per week, you are sure you can find 5 jobs per week for which you're qualified, which you want to do, and you can explain step by step how you will do them in English, then you can find a job in Germany. And then it doesn't matter which industry it is. It doesn't matter if you find most of the jobs just in German, because it's all about talking to an actual person, an actual manager with a pain. And I tell you, there is not a single industry left in Germany where there are enough candidates, no? Especially when it comes to professional positions. The demographic in Germany is like this. There's twice as many people who go into retirement than young people enter the labor market. No? I hope this answered your question, at least a little bit. Executive committee. WS, how do you define professionals? In my case, the people that I work with usually have a university degree. No? Kieran, I have a question. Yeah, ask the question. How do you identify the hiring manager versus human resources in a company? Kalpana asked. It's not that difficult, and it's also not important that you're always 100% right, because if you do it in the right way, then the person that you will identify, that you will reach out to, will be willing to tell you, hey, I'm wrong for this position, but give me a day and I will find out to whom you have to talk. And then you have someone inside the company who has to introduce you. Es würde den Rahmen sprengen, wir sagen auf Deutsch. It would blow the scope of this webinar to explain this all in detail. You know, you can buy my book. I explain the process in my book. You know, you find it on Amazon. How to Win Jobs and Influence Germans. Kiran, do you open this for a voice call? No. Shrikant, can you see our questions? Yes, I can. Raphael, playing tour for a job seeker visa, how can you help? Well, the one thing that I have done for clients in the past is that if they hired my service, that I would write a letter of recommendation. No? Because one thing, I don't know if it's still the case, but at least 1-2 years ago, it was still the case, that among the many documents you have to bring to the German embassy is a short statement of you, a short one-pager, where you explain how you will look for jobs in Germany and why you are confident that you will get job offers in Germany. And that's something where I can help by writing a letter of recommendation, by explaining, hey, I'm an expert on international professionals and Fachkräftemangel. I have had 300 people find a job in Germany. I'm constantly quoted in German quality media. I advise politicians about the reform of the Fachkräfte Einwanderungsgesetz and this kind of stuff. I know that this person is a client of mine, and I will help shepherd him towards this job. And from what I've seen with previous clients from India and other countries, it definitely didn't hurt to have this letter. No? But if you have a qualified, then you don't need my help to get a job seeker visa. Khalid, nice session. Thank you, Khalid. Shrikant, how about SAP HANA 4 with B22 German language? Yeah, Shrikant. That's SAP is a really weird story. There are very few skills that are as much in demand as SAP developers. If you are German as a SAP professional, you will get job offers. The headhunters will call you twice per week to offer you a new job. This changes in the moment when your German is not absolutely fluent. I mean, like really C1 level, native speaker level. Why? Because a huge number of these jobs are offered by consultancies. And every consultancy I ever talked to insists that, yeah, we speak all English, but our clients are German Mittelstand, medium-sized companies, and they only speak German. Now, for them, you need to speak German, otherwise they won't accept you. Personally, I believe this is a lot of bullshit, because half of Germany lives from export and all these companies have to sell to the rest of the world. But that's something consultancies are really adamant about. If you are not C1 level German, they will not consider you. So your best chance inside of SAP is if you can find internal roles where you not will interact with clients so much, but where you will communicate with your colleagues. That's your best shot. And if your goal is to eventually be a consultant or a gender consultant like you are now, then the best strategy to that is find a job in an internal role that will get you to German. And then once you're in the company, offer to help out. No? Like there's a team dealing with our clients, offer to help out with a small thing. And then this way, sneak your way into this more consulting roles over time. Raphael, do we have industrial security jobs in Germany? Yes. When you mean like IT security, then yes, sure, obviously. Shrikant, please share your email ID again. I don't want to post it on the internet, but if you go to immigrantspirit.com or you receive my newsletter, you can, if you go to immigrantspirit.com and you find my newsletter, you can find it by immigrantspirit.com/newsletter, surprise. You sign up for my newsletter, then you simply reply to any of the emails you get through the newsletter. I read every reply. I might not always answer, and sometimes it might take a while before I answer because I really get a lot of emails. But I read every answer and I reply. Well, that's the best way. VS, do you get paid for your services before or after your client gets their job? Well, WS, I have 25,000 readers. I'm in German media all the time. Imagine I would offer my services and ask for payment after I helped someone get a job. I would have 5,000 clients. How would I serve any of them? I work very deliberately with only 8 clients in spring and 8 clients in autumn. Every year I sell all my places and people pay me upfront. So, Executive, vielen Dank. Bitteschön. Rema, could you please share any insight why, despite there being a heavy shortage in employees, exists the HR don't consider foreign candidates? Well, obviously, because that's how we always done it. That's the German excuse for everything. The German mindset of too many of my compatriots lags at least 30 years behind the realities in the world. Germans literally believe that we are the center of the universe, that everybody dreams about coming to Germany, and that we have to put up the highest obstacles for you to get a job here, because otherwise everybody would come. That's what Germans actually believe. I lived in 7 different countries. Believe me, that's not true. I've never met a client or people telling me that when I asked them, hey, what do you consider? Who would say only German. Only Germany is possible, unless they are married to a German. No? Every single one of them, Netherlands, yeah, sure, I would consider Netherlands. Ireland, London, US, Singapore, we are one choice of many. No? But my compatriots really do not understand this. They have no idea. And they can't find candidates But because they are so unflexible and they're so afraid of trying anything different, they just try to do more and more and more of the stuff that they have done. You wouldn't believe some of the things I experienced with German HR. To give you one example, I had a candidate, a French guy, who was in B2B sales, very experienced guy. And he applied with this company and got rejected. So I called their head of HR, nice lady. We had a very nice conversation. In the end, she told me, I cannot consider your client because for this position, you need German. And I called her over and over again for about 6 months, not because I thought I could place my client there. It was clear that this wouldn't happen, but because I was so fascinated. Because do you know what the job was for which you needed German language, for which you as a French person with experience in B2B wasn't the right person? The job was to sell tires to companies in France. But apparently, you need German for that. The company doesn't exist anymore, by the way. I had head of HR reject my client because she said, "Yeah, I can't evaluate this foreign degree, a master's degree of Cambridge." No? I had a head of HR in front of me go to applications by the picture, like it, don't like it, don't like it, by the picture. No qualification or anything, This is unfortunately, and I know a lot of HR people who watch this, they will say, no, it's not like that. Yes, it is, because you might know your colleagues in your company, but I know 1,000 different HR people and I hear the stories what's going on in their companies. So the way out of that is not to be a stereotype, not just to be a few letters on a computer screen, not just to be a piece of paper, but to give the employer the chance to experience you as a human being and as the professional you are, and to talk to people who actually are competent and able to evaluate you. And then people change their mind. And then they see, hey, maybe we could try it with this person. I gave a speech at Handelsblatt in spring, or was it summer? In spring. They have a very big HR event every year, work in progress, and I was one of the speakers there. And after my speech, a lady came to me who works in a very well-known German corporations, whose name you definitely have heard. I cannot share it, but if you would know who it is. You would know this company. And she's tasked to reform HR in this corporation. And even though this company has been working all over the world for 50 years now, in Germany, they hire only in German. And her task is now to slowly get them to accept English speakers as well. And she came to me after the speech, and we had a few conversations afterward. And the way how she tries to break up this company and open it up for international candidates is that she asked me to present a number of good people to her that she could personally lobby for with the HR department so they get a job interview. And she really came through. She did all of that. I sent her a list of 5 people. She introduced them, went to the exact HR person for each of them, talked with them so they get a job interview. And then she came back to me with 2 names. And I wrote these 2 people. One of them wasn't even a client of mine, just someone that I knew and could help out. And I told him, yeah, they told me you should apply to the official channels. They're waiting for your application. Guy, super happy. At the moment works in a well-known Asian company in Asia. Applied. 48 hours later, writes back to me and said, yeah, I got automatically rejected. That's the level of resistance you find in the German society. And if you don't have someone on your side who vouches for you, who works hard to open doors for you, to get you into the room with the decision makers, then it's really, really hard. It's, fucking hard already for any German person who looks a little bit different or has a different sounding name, or is a little bit older, or is handicapped, or anything else, but is out of the norm. And if you come in as a complete outsider without knowing anybody, or without anybody knowing you actually, it's really, really hard. But it's possible when you know how to do things. Sorry, I'm preaching, yes, very sorry. We have 2 more minutes left, by the way, and then for today it's over. Shrikant wrote too many emails, but no reply. Did you write to me? Because if you write me a normal email that has like, dear Chris, I'm Shrikant, we talked in the webinar, this is what I want from you, can you help? Then you will get a reply always. Andrew, Chris, surely they are worst example. Ach yeah, so naive, so young. Sorry, I don't make fun of you. I just remember I could go on with examples like this for 1 hour, you know. I've been living here for 1 year, made 2 applications to Deutsche Bahn, had 2 interviews with HR and got a job. I start tomorrow. Congratulations, Andrew. You are the exception to the rule. And that's the whole point, you know. The exception to the rule is the exception and not the norm. Deutsche Bahn, by the way, is a surprisingly good employer. Not only when it comes to hiring in English, because they have a massive, massive lack of people, but they are also very, very open and flexible when it comes to working part-time, working from home office, working in tandems. I know someone there, and they really try a lot to find good people. No? So Deutsche Bahn is definitely a company you can look at. But as I said, now 50% of all English jobs come from just 350 companies in Germany. Okay, yeah, let's close there. I'm actually quite happy, Andrew, that you were the last one, because you end with a hopeful note and with the job that you found. I hope this was useful for you. If it was, please share this the link to this video with your friends. The video will stay online for a long time. If you want me to work with you, there's only 2 seats left. So head over to immigrantspirit.com/miracle and secure your place right now. And then tomorrow I will see with whom of you I get the pleasure of working in the next few months. My name is Chris Pyak, and I thank you for your time. And well, in 6 months, we see each other maybe again for the next webinar. Bye-bye. So.